When it comes to the most important questions in life, arguably one of the hardest is the question of origins. Where did we come from? Join me as we look into the first 3 chapters of Genesis. Hi, Dovann here, and welcome to another episode of Week at a Glance, where we dive into a thoughtful summary of this week's Bible study guide. Welcome to a whole new series on the covenant. Well, it's not really that new because the same lesson from the same authors was used in 1982, and this is literally, verbatimly the same lesson that was used in the first quarter of 2003. But it is a very, very important topic. So we will take a closer look at what God's covenant is, what it offers, and even what it demands. One of the most challenging things I have experienced since coming to secular Europe from the Philippines is talking about creation to someone who doesn't believe in God. You see, I grew up in the Philippines where 93% of the population are Christians and close to 6% are Muslims. And that's a whooping 98% of the population who believes in God. Christians need faith to believe that creation took place. That's something I've realized. And also what we actually believe. Because none of us were here to see the creation process itself in the first place. Even secularists, naturalists, and whatever view of origins they hold have to take that view on faith for the same reason that we as creationists have to. None of us were here to view the event. Today, we're gonna be looking at God's perfect creation. What, seriously? Perfect creation? Look at the world around you, Keo. Everywhere, there's lockdown, diseases, crime. Perfect creation? What happened? Oh, by the way, that's the title of this episode. What happened? Now, here are the important points to remember for today's episode. Our first point is God's first words at creation. The Bible opens up with a famous line, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth," Genesis 1 verse 1, and zooms in on the 6 days of creation. Each day opens with, "Then God said, let there be." And then God said, "Let there be." And as a summary for all days except day 2, God ended with a divine pronouncement that it was good. On day 6, after creating man, the crowning work of God's creation, and as an evaluation of all creation, God concluded with a divine pronouncement that it was very good. In Genesis chapter 1, the Bible does not attempt to prove God's existence. It simply assumes it. It simply states that He is the creator. This worldview provides answers to life's most basic yet most consequential questions, because your understanding of your origin, identity, and meaning will impact your understanding of morality and destiny. Our origin as human beings is very special. You and I are not a product of evolution, but of creation. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 says, "So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them." The image of God refers to something that man is rather than man has or does. By virtue of being human, you are in the image of God. It is not dependent on what you have or what you do. So going forward, God ended the 6-day creation by declaring that indeed everything was very good. Now let's turn to God's interaction with Adam and Eve. Our second point is God's first words to humanity. God takes the first steps toward a relationship with humankind. He does it even today. The first act He did was to bless them. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, "Then God blessed them." And then what follows is God's first instruction to humankind. In verse 29, "And God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." The first ever recorded spoken words to them deal with interaction and relationship with the physical world. God has asked them to be masters over the wonderful creation that He has made. God's perfect creation didn't include natural and man-made disasters, nor did it include diseases and crimes. What happened? Good question. God took them and put them in the Garden of Eden to care for it. And here we find God's first command to humankind in Genesis chapter 2, 16 and verse 17. And the Lord God commanded man, saying, "Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." God endowed humankind with an incredible gift, the power to choose. They were free moral beings who had a capacity to obey God or disobey His command. The test of the tree was an opportunity to exercise their free will, an opportunity to affirm their loyalty and faithfulness to the Creator and Sustainer of life. Sadly, the first humans disobeyed God's will. Now, let's take a look at how God dealt with it. Our third and final point is God's first words to fallen humanity. Fallen humanity? What happened? Exactly. Another good question. The record of this tragic episode is found in Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. Eve's natural defenses were bypassed by the craftiness of Satan, who disguised himself as a charming, intelligent serpent. Now, here's a question for you. Did Eve's wrong decision imply that humanity must suffer as a result of her sin? Now, I'm gonna pause this video and give you a few seconds to think it through, okay? And we're back. I hope that you remember your answers because now we're gonna read a quote from a Bible commentary. It was the deliberate choice of Adam in full understanding of an expressed command of God rather than hers, Eve's, that made sin and death the inevitable lot of mankind. Eve was deceived, Adam was not. Now, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I would love to see your answers and interact with you. I'd love to see what you guys think about it. So moving forward, as a result, the relationship between God and humankind is now broken. Unless something was done, humanity was heading for eternal ruin. Then, God stepped in and looked for Adam and Eve. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 9, God asked, "Where are you?" These were God's first words to fallen humanity. In the same way, God is calling you, "Where are you?" He is not willing to lose you. He is looking for you. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, God revealed the first messianic prophecy to Adam and Eve. This was the first covenant that God made after the fall of mankind. What a great comfort it must have been to hear this hope and promise from God. The creation story is not only a narrative of how everything came to be, but it is also the story of God's love. He loves us so much that He created us as free moral beings. And this story continues. You are part of it. Will you choose to love and obey God? The choice is yours. In summary, here are the different points we talked about in today's episode. Point number 1, God's first words at creation. Point number 2, God's first words to humanity. And point number 3, God's first words to fallen humanity. Now, if you find this video helpful, then please share it with a friend. Spread the word and change lives one message at a time. And if you want to watch more summaries like this, then click right here. This is again Dovann for Week at a Glance. I'll see you in the next video.